Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. I am your host, Councilwoman Veronica Lurvey, and today I am joined by a very special guest cook, Julie Lam.
Hi.
We are going to be making a dish for Lunar New Year. Now, as many of you know, Lunar New Year is a traditional holiday that's celebrated by so many of the town of North Hempstead residents who are of Asian or East Asian origin. It's a time for families to come together, to celebrate, and to enjoy delicious food. So, Julie, can you tell us, what are we going to be making today?
So today we're going to be making a very traditional dish. We eat this during New Year's Eve, and it's a vegetarian dish, and it's called Lo Hon Zai. The Zai part means that it's a vegetarian dish.
Wonderful. And what is the significance of this dish to you?
It's just one of those dishes that our family has always had. The ingredients all come together and they all have meaning. For example, the noodles mean longevity, and so we obviously all want a nice, healthy, long life, so we have noodles. So we'll talk about, some of the ingredients, and I'll tell you more.
Oh, I can't wait. And I can't wait to taste it too.
Oh yeah, and it's very, very tasty dish. It definitely has very Asian flavors in there. The first ingredient is a very traditional one, and we use these dried mushrooms. And you can find these in any Asian supermarket, like Korean supermarkets like H Mart, and
Right.
we have a few in Great Neck, Little Neck supermarket. So if you want, you cut the bag open, and they're light, but they're hard.
Right.
And so, it has a nice flavor to it. And the way you prepare these are you put it in a bowl of water, and it's going to take some time, about 30 minutes or so. If you soak it in hot water, then it'll be a little bit faster, maybe 15 minutes. So right now, this one's been soaking for a while, and as you can see, I still can't really squish it, so it is not ready. So we'll let it soak some more. But once it is all the way soaked through, you'll see it's like nice and pliable if you want to take it. It's like completely squishy.
Right, very different.
Yeah, it's very different from that. And as you know, it has a little bit of a different taste too.
Yes.
And it seems to be activated, right? Like it smells a little bit stronger.
It's a smell that I'm not used to.
Yes. But we use it in all the dishes because it just gives it a very uniquely Chinese Asian flavor.
I think it's very earthy.
It's definitely very earthy. Our next ingredient you can find right next to this. They were actually in the same exact aisle and right on top of each other. It's part of the dried food. Okay. So have you ever seen this?
I've never, ever in my life seen this. It says it's dried bean stick.
Yeah, it's dried bean sticks, and it's made out of soybeans. So we use a lot of ingredients like tofu. That's made out of soybeans. And I don't know if you've ever had the tofu puffs, and there's a bunch of other little things that are very interestingly made out of this bean, and you would never think you would end up with a product like this. And I don't know how they do it, but here we are. So the bean curd sticks also need to be soaked. It's nice and hard, and it has no flavor at all for me. It's like tofu, It doesn't really have a flavor per se, but once you cook it, it absorbs all the flavor.
That's where the sauce comes in.
That's where the sauce comes in. So, if you have a nice tasty sauce, this will absorb it and it'll taste really good. So the way we prepare these, that one has been soaked already. And you see the end parts are a little bit hard, and I never could get them to soak through, so I just discard them.
This part? Oh no, this part.
Yeah, anything that is not big and open, it's going to pretty much go through. So we dump those into water. Yep, Veronica did it right. She took off these parts, and you can break that up. Sometimes, if I had a bigger bowl, I would actually just dump the whole thing in, but because the bowl is a little bit smaller, we keep it like this. And this will soften a lot quicker. And so once it softens, we end up with this. And again, you see it's nice and pliable and flexible, and so this is how we know it's ready for cooking. Do you like tofu?
I love tofu.
Oh, okay. So you're not gonna mind this. It's not to say it tastes like tofu, but it's just similar, you know. Okay. So then the next ingredient, you can find this in the noodle aisle of an Asian supermarket. So they call this bean thread. There's a lot of different names for it. It's also called glass noodle. Sometimes the Korean culture will eat something similar to this, and it's called glass noodles, but it's made out of sweet potatoes. And then Thailand, they use this. A lot of Asian cultures
But this is
use
not
this.
rice noodles.
But it's not rice noodle, because rice noodles, after you cook it, it's white, right? And this one, you'll see later that it's translucent. To prepare the bean thread, which sometimes we call vermicelli and sometimes we call glass noodle, we just soak it in water again. And I have one that I already opened. So again, when you have when you take it out of the bag, it's quite stiff. But then once you soak it in water, it just softens up really quickly. So if you want, we'll put half in just so that they know.
So I think a lot of the preparation here is
So
soaking.
It's not too bad.
Maybe about half an hour before? Or?
Yeah, so what I do is I generally open everything and have it soaking, and then I'll go and prepare the rest of my stuff. And then by the time I come back, it's usually ready. So we'll put this aside. So this one actually is the quickest to soften up. So you'll see it in maybe a few minutes, and it'll be ready. And then once it's ready, it'll look like this. And again, when you feel it, it's nice and flexible. So it's very easy to figure out when it's ready.
But it's still hard because it still needs to be cooked.
Yeah, because, and this, you don't want to cook too long because it will disintegrate very quickly.
All
so.
right.
We'll put that aside. So the rest of our ingredients, we have snap peas. So do you know how to prepare snap peas?
I don't know.
Really? Okay, well, here we go. So we want to take the tips off, and you don't want to just rip it off. You want to take it off like that, but you try to get the side, what do you want to call
sides.
these? Like,
But mostly the top, right?
Yeah, mostly the top. And I also do the bottom. You don't generally get too much, but you see the stringy stuff on the side. And I apologize, I don't know what they're called.
Well, they're stringies.
Yeah, the strings on the side. So when you eat it, you will, if you don't take the sides off, it tastes a little fibrous. And you won't be able to chew it. It'll end up in your mouth. That's like a little, squished up, thread or something. So I take those off, and even when you take it off, you may still, have a little bit. So
A little bit of fiber never
little
hurt
bit,
anybody.
yeah, true.
So I think you already cleaned
I
all of
cleaned
these.
those ones, and
Thank
so no problem. Our next ingredients are carrots. I'm sure. Do you know? Have you ever seen this?
I think I have.
Okay, so these are commonly found everywhere, right? I prepared these by cutting them into a flour.
So that's new in this kitchen. In this kitchen, carrots get chop, chop, chop.
Right.
Never cut into a flour. So that's new for me.
Well, we have a show, so I thought we'll try to fancy it up.
They're beautiful. They're really beautiful.
Yeah, they're really pretty. And I'm hoping if I do this, my kids will actually want to eat it. So you take a section of the carrot, and I took the, just cut like a sliver of the edge off, and I did that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You go like that, and then you go like that. And I took those off already. And so now if you want, when you slice it, you will get a nice, pretty flower.
So this is a little bit of extra effort to make it look really
effort,
pretty.
But it's Lunar New Year, and the reason why we have carrots in there, it's because they call it Hong Lo Bak in Chinese, and Hong means red. And so they're saying it's red, and so red is a very auspicious color for us. And so they like to add a little color in there. It's like a very auspicious dish. So do you want to try cutting one piece for us?
Absolutely.
Or all of it?
I want to cut it off.
Okay. Do you like carrots?
I love carrots.
Okay.
My whole family loves carrots.
Carrots I like raw more than cooked, but
here we are.
Yep.
See, I learned something new today.
Beautiful. Okay, so these are little mushrooms. I found them in an Asian supermarket, but I'm sure you can find them in other supermarkets as well. They came in a little package, and you just cut the ends off. So because they were all clumped together the end.
So they were
cut
fresh.
those off.
They were not dry.
Oh, yeah, these ones are fresh. I have a couple of slices of ginger, and I don't personally love to eat a whole piece of ginger, so I make it a little bit bigger so that the flavor will come out, but I could easily pick it out and I won't accidentally eat it. But if you don't mind it, you could slice it up or dice it up and just throw it in, and then you'll get like a mouthful of ginger. Next is minced garlic. I have 2 cloves in here, and the garlic is just gonna make our dish really aromatic. Over here is some cornstarch, water, and soy sauce. And we do this, I made this in case the dish gets too watery. And once you put this in at the end, it'll just thicken it up.
And about how much do you have?
So this looks about a few teaspoons of water and then half the amount of cornstarch and then just like a couple of drops of soy sauce.
Okay.
But I'll probably add more soy sauce later. With this dish, I also wanted to mention it's very versatile. You can basically add anything that you really want to your dish, and you can omit any of the stuff that you may not want in your dish. So the first step, we usually add oil.
And before you were telling us that we put it on not the smallest burner, but the hottest burner.
Oh, yeah.
Because Chinese food, you cook very hot.
Very hot. We like that heat. And we're gonna put in our aromatics first, our ginger, and then we'll put in our garlic. And so you should start to smell that. And,
that is hot.
Right? And it's very hot. This is how we like it. And then to almost burning.
Yes, almost burning.
So next we quickly throw in our bean curd. And I put this in first because you want to fry it a little bit. And second, I don't really like crunchy carrots, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna put carrots in because I want it to cook a little bit longer. And the next thing that will require a little bit more cooking is going to be the dried mushrooms. So I'm gonna put that in, give it a stir. Yep. And I'm gonna just give it just a little bit of water because the noodles need a little bit of water to cook. Otherwise it's gonna be a little bit too dry. So I'll put the cover in just for a second.
So is this technically a wok that you're using? If somebody doesn't have...
It's like a modern wok. It's not the truly traditional wok because this one is stainless steel.
Okay.
And, but I like it because with the wok you have to season it and there's more steps to it.
That's the beauty of this dish is that you can be versatile with it. And you can use
you
a
can
dish.
Use a frying pan.
Right, a frying pan or a large skillet, anything that'll hold the volume that you need, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So next I'm gonna put in the snap peas and give that a stir.
Nice, colorful.
I like the colors. And then we'll put in our noodles. I like my greens very crunchy. I don't want to overcook them.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
okay, so that we're in agreement. Then we're just gonna throw in the noodles. And it's gonna take a second to cook.
Okay, let me smell it.
We haven't put our sauce in, so it's not, does it smell like anything yet?
A little bit like the mushrooms.
Oh yeah, because
And
the
the
mushroom
ginger.
is so fragrant.
Yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
a little bit probably garlic. So these ones you can throw in at the end. So you can see this piece, this is how you want the coloring to be. You see it becomes a little more translucent. So I guess this another reason this is like really interesting and really easy to cook with is it kind of tells you when it's ready. So you'll see like it becomes more translucent. So I'm just gonna add a little soy sauce, and the way I know how much to put, I drizzle it everywhere, and that's just how
So you just drizzled it
just drizzle
along
it
the top.
along the top. And the soy sauce will give me a nice color. So we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt. We don't need it too salty because the soy sauce also has salt. We're gonna drizzle a little sugar. And again, this is 1 tablespoon, but I won't need that much. I just cover the surface with a very thin layer, and that's how I tell. And then the last, you know what? It's a little dry, so I'm gonna add just a little water. So this is how you adjust things, you know? If it's too dry, we just add a little water. If it's too wet, you just let the water evaporate a little bit. So when we add the cornstarch mixture, what you're gonna notice is it's gonna get really thick. So I'll just put half in now. Once it starts cooking, it's gonna get thick and it'll give you your sauce.
This is looking tremendously delicious.
Thank you. Okay, so our last step, we just drizzle some sesame oil on there, and I just love the smell of sesame oil.
Yes.
I drizzle it a lot, not just on this dish, but on a lot of dish like tofus and whatnot. So I give it a quick stir, and our dish is complete, and this is Lo Hon Zai.
Yay! Awesome. Look at this beautiful plate too.
Yes, it's a very traditional Chinese plate. You put out carrots on top. Wow, and look at that. Okay.
So Julie, I am ready to taste your Lo Hon Zai.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Otherwise
Very
known,
good.
thank you.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as longevity noodles. Let's dig in.
All right, so we'll scoop a little noodle out and see if you like the
noodle itself.
Yeah, the noodle itself. I really like it. It's one of my favorite.
That is delicious.
It's got kind of like it's got really nice texture. I like it.
That is delicious. I could taste the sesame oil. I could taste a little bit of the garlic and the ginger. The smell of the mushrooms. Let me try this.
Yeah, you should definitely try the bean curd. It absorbs the flavor of...
Surprisingly delicious.
You like it? Kind of like tofu. It doesn't taste like it, but, you know, it just absorbs the flavor.
Now let's see the vegetables. The mushroom and the peas.
I'll try the mushroom.
The dried mushroom is something I would never find in my pantry until now.
And you know where to find it.
I know where to find it now.
The dried section.
Exactly. So every year in the lunar calendar is associated with an animal, right?
Yes,
So what are we looking at going into this new year?
We have 12 zodiacs. This is the year of the rabbit. So I found out that the year of the rabbit will signify peace and tranquility. And I feel like in this environment, right, with everything that's going on, we can all use some peace, tranquility, some happiness.
Absolutely.
Just time to decompress and just take a deep breath and be happy. So I hope this year brings you, everyone, great happiness and peace and tranquility. And I hope you learned something today, and you'll have a wonderful new year.
And there will be very many celebrations around the town of North Hempstead for the Lunar New Year. So please come out, learn about your neighbors, celebrate, and be part of the fun. And I wish you all a very happy new year.
Yep, 恭喜發財.